Welcome back, friends, to Tip of the Tongue Talks. We are here for Black Mirror Season 7, Episode 1, Common People. Would you fight to keep your loved one alive at a monthly subscription cost? Delve into the sci-fi thriller as we discuss common people and what it means to love someone unconditionally. Unconditionally. Would you pay the cost? All right, so where serendipity, desperation, unconditional love, and poor decision making leads to predatory practice and awful decision making. Let's get into it. All right, so on Uncommon People, Black Mirror Season 7, Episode 1, we have Amanda and we have Mike, a married couple who seemingly have decent jobs. However, they're faced with a crisis and they become very vulnerable to some predatory practices. So, what comes to your mind when you think about society that we reside in today when it comes to predatory practices? So we know that Amanda had this health condition, right? And so she passed out and was essentially kind of brain dead, about to die. And so her husband is faced with a decision. Do we let Amanda die or do we save Amanda? And so, again, the question is, what comes to your mind when you think about the society that we reside in today when it comes to predatory practices?
I'll go first. So one thing we didn't talk about when you were setting it up, you left the part out that they didn't tell them that there was a price to it. When they started off, she was like, "Oh, everything's free. Everything's free."
We're gonna get into that too. We have some more questions as we go along.
I think the first thing I think about is our healthcare system in America right now, and how one core morbidity leads into the other core morbidity, and so you keep having to get more drugs on top of more drugs on top of more drugs in order to get this problem that you have fixed. Which, when you say core morbidity, that's basically just saying you have another diagnosis on top of that. For anybody who don't know. And so that's what it just keeps doing. It exacerbates the problems that you already have and makes you have more problems. Like, I've been watching this show on HBO Max called The Pit, and it's so interesting how the emergency room works, where they have to have a certain number of patients they see within an hour. They have to have so many tests that they do on these patients, whether the patient needs the test or not. So that's what I think about when I think about that season, because I didn't know that. I thought the tests that they're running on you are validated, but no, it's extra.
And so no one is ever truly healed.
Not in America, baby.
Not at all.
Not in Trump's America. Bringing back student loans, bitches.
So this is what I think. I basically think that, like America, they don't give a fuck. They really just want the money. They really don't care about you. They don't care about your health. They don't care about, they just see it as, ooh, this is just another way to get money.
Yeah,
bottom line, plain and simple. Yep.
That's what, and I completely agree with the both of y'all that they're trying to monetize it, because she said the search is free. However, for $300 this month, you can get it, but you can't roam around and can't do all those things or whatnot. So I don't think I would do it for my partner.
It's just a way. It was just a way to get more and more money. Who stays in just one county?
Nobody.
Nobody.
And then she for all intents and purposes, she died. And then he freaks out because he wasn't listening to her, even though she did tell him. She did tell him, you go outside the county, and our service is gonna stop. Well, he forgot about it. He freaked out. He and that's when he learned about, this, I don't know what you call it, plus Lux, whatever bullshit it was.
Then Lux.
Then the extra boosters.
And there's more money. There's more money. Now, so
it's like our phone carriers.
And that's exactly what I can't stand. You have the capability of helping people, but because you're monetizing, you wanna hurt people. You want to keep them in this little box. So when their life circumstances change, it's just a way for you to make more money. Who can afford $1,800 a month?
Kill me.
Pull the
I gotta
plug.
go.
I'm just
Let me go
gone.
out with some.
That's $1,800 without without the ads. It's $300 with the ads and no roaming. So I'd take that. I don't go nowhere anyways.
All right. And so the next question you guys kind of already started addressing, but before that, Corey, you were kind of faded in the background a little bit, so we missed a little bit of what you said. Did you have anything else to input?
I said, kill me. I'd be dead. They're gonna have me on a struggle bus day in and day out, and then intermittently I'm giving ads for lube and everything else.
I can start my own OnlyFans, bitch. And
Right?
oh my. Corey,
You're making money off of me, the money that I can make for myself. Man.
Correct.
I really need to see Corey's face. I hope your computer stops freezing up. I need to see your face.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
All right. Next question. All right. So while at work, Mike is introduced to a website that compensates people to do unsavory and grotesque things for compensation. Here's the question. Would you bend your morals to save your loved one?
Yes.
Corey is screaming out yes. And so, I mean, there's no holds barred on some of the things that these people are asking for on this website. I mean, you're drinking urine, mousetrap on penis and or tongue, just pulling out your own molars, you name it. Corey's like, I'm rolling with the fam. I'm bending these morals. I'm bending it over. Whatever I got to do, I'm saving my loved one.
I think I would have some boundaries, but pain will be my boundary, and then my stuff will probably be more sexual and or that type of stuff.
I'm not judging. I'm not
Describe
judging.
that for us, Corey.
I really wish I could see his face. Yes, please elucidate.
The penis gloves. I mean, come on.
Had that on yesterday, huh?
Mine
I've
were
never seen
black.
that before in my life.
They were black.
Jermaine's like, where do you buy these? I've never even seen that.
Amazon.
Of course.
Listen, when I saw that, I had
a
a mind to go and Google search the image just so I could see if that is a real thing.
And I am on Amazon right now. Brittany, you been in those morals? What you doing, Brittany?
No. It's time for you to go.
I only bend my morals for myself.
I got student loans I gotta pay. I'm sorry. No. Mm-mm.
Jermaine, you making a face. Are you bending those morals?
It would depend on what they were asking. Like I can see myself doing some things, but not everything. You know what I'm saying? Like it depends. It depends. Now, if it's sexual, I have no morals, so we can do it.
Because what's the point?
But I mean,
I too am loose.
Women that are loose.
Oh, the visuals. Very good.
Hey, Corey.
Thank goodness.
Have you ever been swallowed up?
That is the way.
I'm not doing all that weird stuff. My partner have to understand.
Define weird. Everybody's weird.
I'm not pulling out my molars and putting mouse traps on my clit. No, I'm not doing all that.
Yeah, that's a step too far. But the other stuff,
no. What about you?
I think I would do a little strange things for some change.
A lot for free.
Right. I done a lot of things for free. So,
I wonder what the statute of limitations on my refund is.
If I had some of them old pictures and videos, my God, today.
Nah, I'm not.
All right,
God,
moving forward. All right, $300 per month was how much the subscription to Rivermind costed initially. And it sounded like an ideal solution to keep Amanda alive. However, the fine print was not front loaded. What are your thoughts about how the miracle surgery was presented?
Scam.
He didn't ask enough questions.
not
He didn't.
Now.
No, you gotta ask
Interesting.
questions. Who's doing the surgery? Why is it free? Is it a test? Like, you didn't ask all the right questions.
See, but that's why you got to bring somebody else with you. So the entire time I was thinking, well, where's her family? Like, why was her family not present? You know, when he was making all these decisions, like we didn't see anybody. Like, for him, at least I understood he's from another country. Well, he's from another country, so his family is probably not there. But where is her family? Where are her friends? You know, like nobody was like talking to him and saying, "Hey, sounds good, but what about?"
It doesn't sound good.
And then Tracy Ellis Ross coming in and being like, "Oh, I went through it. I can afford it." I thought at the end they were going to do it to where they were going to show her story or something like that and be like, this is the struggle that she had. And that way, if you become a sales rep, then you'll get all of the luxuries too. Like, I thought that's where they were going with the storyline.
But Brittany, she had the surgery 18 months before she was able to sell it. I'm being honest with you. As educators, we're not being able to jump inside there and just be a sales rep. No. I
Oh,
don't
I
really
come from that background, so I get it.
Huh?
I come from the sales background.
Had the surgery. But, you know, that's just my opinion.
Or she could have had her nonchalance turned all the way up and didn't give zero fucks. She was selling this like the humanity was gone at that point. I don't care. I'm just trying to get this sale.
And she got her sale. Now let's upsell it.
But then you also saw that scene where she did turn that nonchalance up, and it makes you wonder, by showing that, was that saying that she probably always had it turned up to where so she could be that salesperson? And let me just say, I love me some Tracy Ellis Ross. And this was, what was her character in whatchamacallit?
Rainbow?
Yes, in Rainbow. This was Rainbow with just a little bit more to her. I kept thinking this was Rainbow when I was sitting there watching this show, and I was like, man.
She was so convincing.
So convincing. So convincing. I love her.
I wanted to see her kids.
You want to see her? Girl, you too invested in her.
I was. I really was. Like, her character, I like. But that's just because I come from that salesy background. So I've been there before trying to sell somebody oxygen or respiratory equipment when they really didn't need it. Like, I've been there. I get it.
Yeah. For her to say common is a new premium, that's crazy. Like, that's yesterday's price.
Like, that's a thing with a pay.
You already behind. You talking about common, we on to Lux.
Right.
All right. Speaking of that, let's go to our next question. All right, so Amanda and Mike attempt to leave the Rivermind coverage area, and Amanda passes out. She also starts running ads during her workday. In high pursuit of assistance, they go to see Gaynor seeking solutions. How are these glitches and upgrading to premium packages reminiscent of the hamster wheel of payday loans, high interest loans, students loans, or any other type of loans that prey on the desperate people of every day?
Predatory. That's all it is. It's just predatory practices. Like, you know, the reason why I love Black Mirror so much is that it kind of pushes things to the absurd. I could hold it the whole time I was watching this. I could very well see a future, particularly in this country, where this is a reality. Maybe not to the extreme, but possibly where people are trading themselves realistically or using their personal life as coinage or whatever to for longevity, to pay for healthcare. I mean, the part where they were using her mental capacity to help the servers when she was sleeping, I could totally see Microsoft or any server company coming up with that sort of technology
Apple.
and preying on communities of color. Let me just say it, on communities of color. Make money while you sleep.
Yes. Yes.
And
You know what I'm saying?
what do y'all think the bees tie into it? Because remember in the beginning, she was teaching about the bees and how their minds work. How do you think the bees tie into that?
It made more so than how it tied into it. The thing that it just made me think about, okay, how far in the future are we to where there are artificial bees? You know,
Yeah.
that's more so what it made me think about. Like, what time period is this to where we've just gone artificial?
Artificial insects. That shit.
So I didn't want to cut you off. So yeah, I did think about that as it relates to the bees, but I was also thinking about community and how, you know, like it takes all of us to like kind of work together in order to, you know, fulfill a vision, a goal, or whatever. And so at first I was like, okay, all right, that's the direction that they're going. But nah, this was all for self, all for profit. And stuff like this makes me say, you know, sometimes socialists have a point. It's not all about or at least it shouldn't be all about the dollar, especially when it comes to someone's health.
That's how other countries run. They're not all about the dollar when it comes to people. Like, look at Canada. Everybody gets free health care there and good health care at that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost that much.
We're big on monetizing the capitalization in America. So when Elia and I, we discussed it earlier today, I was just like, I can actually see America doing something like this. So.
I really could.
They're doing it right now. What you talking about?
But what I'm saying about paying for our existence or whatnot, you can tell everybody anything. You can say that, hey, you possibly have high blood pressure, so you have to take this pill right here in order to feel healthy, whatever the case may be. That's why I'm not into that.
Yeah, that's how I got diabetes from my blood pressure medication.
Yeah, and it leads on to this and this. And you're just trying to.
What you talking about?
I got high blood pressure, and so they put me on hydrochlorothiazide. Hydrochlorothiazide, they warned me, can lead to diabetes if you take it for a long term. It can lead to type 2 diabetes. So that's what happened to me. So now I got more comorbidities. So when I be talking up here, I be talking about myself, y'all. True circle moment.
True circle.
Now you got me scared because I take high blood pressure up.
It can lead to, it depends on which one you take.
Stop teaching.
Lower your blood pressure.
That's the common thread. Education.
Yeah.
See it happening.
And I just think about, I think about how when like cigarette companies and big tobacco and their studies and just history teaches us how they infiltrated Black communities and communities of color with their ads. I mean, look at Taka and Newport and their marketing strategies and how Taka. You don't see Taka ads before Plank Road.
Yes. It's true.
And Gus Young. You don't see Taka, and those are urban areas for those of you that are not in Baton Rouge.
On Airline Highway,
considered urban areas, right?
I see them on Airline Highway, Sherwood,
right.
But
subliminals.
When I go to the club, I don't know nobody that ordered Taka.
They don't sell it there. I hope not.
Yeah, they do. It's bottom shelf.
They sell it.
They sell it.
I don't want to go to that type of club.
I don't want to go to the club. Not where I am in life now. Like, just reach at the bottom of the shelf. Give me that.
I'll go to a Mariko's.
It's that kind of day.
Or Charcoal Lounge. Oh my God, listen to what I heard. Okay, random off the topic. Tell me if this is true or not. My cousin told me this. In Austin, they're having to close clubs on 3rd Street because kids are not drinking as much anymore. Now they just want to dance and smoke weed. So some of the clubs on 3rd Street are closing.
Well, legalize marijuana in Texas.
Y'all didn't hear that? Okay, we can talk about it offline.
Oh my goodness! Please get the kids to drink it. All right.
He's not
So
drinking as much.
ultimately, we know that Mike ends up getting one of these boosters for his wife. But was the taste of River Mine Lux worth it? I'm gonna say for me, don't give me a taste of the good life if you got to take it away. I don't want it.
Correct.
Keep it. I don't want the trial. I don't want it. My question for you guys is, was it worth it? Was the taste of having River Mine
Hell
Lux
yeah. I want a taste of the bougie life
for
of the rich.
12 hours, and then you got to go back to being a peasant Cinderella, and your
Yeah,
stage
like
costume turned into a pumpkin?
that's like eating at a fancy restaurant that I know I really can't afford, and I can only go once every 3 months or some shit. I'm just gonna shit it out, but I still want to go.
I love your analogies. However, he shouldn't have put it on the max when he did like the pleasure and all that type of stuff. Like
Right.
she was making out with dang on burger. Like, come on.
Let
Like,
her
And
live
why
her
did he
best
use
life.
all his time at one point in time? Like, why not kind of parse it out some, right? Like, do a couple hours here because he had 12 hours total, so he could have used 2 hours on the anniversary. You know, just save it up, right? But even still, you can't have it all the time. So, would you really want it, right?
Yes,
No,
I
no.
wouldn't.
Or would
I
you want
want
to humiliate yourself to have it?
Better
You know what I'm
question.
saying?
That's a better question. And
That's what you
how
asked me.
far humiliation? But then that goes into I mean, I could see society devolving into this. I can see people. This is the evolution of OnlyFans right here. We're gonna see people turning tricks in the street because
people
they're trying to
already
do X,
doing
Y, and Z. I mean, they are. It's just an extension of where society already is. We're just not quite there yet because technology hasn't caught up to it. But if we can make a dollar off of it, you know, people gonna be turning tricks to get medication for grandma
We
and Medea.
we here.
we already here.
We
So
already
this is
here.
so this is what I was thinking. So at the beginning of the episode, he saw a coworker looking at somebody else doing, exactly what he ended up doing, and of course, he didn't like it. He was just like crazy Americans. Um, but what it had me wondering was not is it something that we're going to become, but rather more. At what point will society basically say enough?
That's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen because I mean it's getting worse and worse. You have all this different types of AI like apps and everything. They're making rumors and stuff like that. Oh, I can make a video right now of Brittany talking and stuff like that from an AI app. Me personally, right? Cool. And I don't have anything to lose, a game, anything like that. But what I'm saying is it's only gonna get worse. Like with more development and exposure, people are gonna want to get more and more. It's a greed of the world.
But okay, so I guess I didn't ask it artfully enough. Our society, at what point? Because there has to be a point at which society says enough is enough. We got to stop. And I'm not just talking about social media. I'm talking about everything that's happening. Like we were talking about healthcare system and how the healthcare system it's really just out to make more money, right? Interest rates on everything, like it's to the point. At what point, the housing situation where people with good credit were made to pay extra interest just because they were black. You know what I'm saying? Like, at what
Right.
point will our society say enough is enough?
A lot of limitations.
I think it has to burst. I know
Yeah.
that sounds crazy, but I think it has to burst. I think it's like Trump has to do some crazy shit where he
You do crazy shit every day.
no
Every day.
more where he has a precedent where he doesn't get out of office. And the world go. I'm serious. He does a precedent, and he does not get out of office. He becomes a dictator, and then at that point, he has martial law, and then everybody goes to war, and our society breaks. At that point, I think it'll be enough's enough. But until then, I don't think they're gonna say enough's enough because it doesn't affect them. It has
So
to.
I'm about to piggyback on what you just said, Britt Brett. To you got to affect the right people.
Right.
Think about it. We just common black people. It doesn't affect everybody else. They don't care.
They don't care.
So when you
But
affect the
once it
right
affects
people,
enough of quote unquote them or those in quote unquote the ruling class, right? Then I think it'll matter. But until people are still profiting off the system is not going to fail. Enough people get hurt by the system, then I think there will be change.
So actually, what I think there's more than enough people who are affected by this. I think a lot of people see it from the perspective of, oh, I'm white, they're black. Mm, because they're black, they're educated, and society is rigged so that they can prosper. Because I'm white, my situation is different from theirs. They see themselves differently from other groups of people. Um, all the different groups of people in America, they're all segregated amongst themselves, and all thinking that another group has it better than this group, not knowing that we're all fucked up. and because we're screaming for our piece of the pie when we should all be coming together and saying this whole shit is fucked up and this is how it's fucked up, and our society could run so much better if we gave a damn about
us.
the person next to us.
Other
Whether
people
that
in general. Other people. Yeah. So and that's the whole game right there, right? That's the oligarchy mentality, right? Those the 1% is spending enough resources, enough money to keep the rest of the populace fighting each other through all this other class warfare and all this other BS, right? So that the eyes are not on the prize of what's actually broken and what's actually wrong with the system. There's enough people in the middle class and below that are affected by all the bullshit, right, to affect change, but they can never get to that point because we are stuck on people being so concerned about what my neighbor calls themselves, right? Or so concerned with, just any infantile silly decision that the next person makes, or wokeism or whatever they deem is woke at the moment, right? Those little culture wars, right? There's enough of that going on to where it's distracting people from the root causes of all of that, which is people, those in higher positions or with money, right, pitting us against each other.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree.
Y'all are right.
All right, so I have gotten a huge social studies lesson today, and I really, really feel like I need to brush up on my rights. Um, no, in all seriousness, though, I agree. Everybody is so woke that they're asleep.
Correct.
Um, we've used the word neighbor repeatedly, and that's just not a reality right now. It's me for me, me for me, and so how can it affect change if no one's willing to be an actual community? So I agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next question. So we know that Mike loses his job. They're already hanging on by a thread. Should he have been the only one that was penalized when he lost his job? When I watched that scene personally, I kind of felt some type of way, but should he have been the only one that was penalized and lost his job? Because to me, he was bullied. He was bullied. He was ostracized. You can't put something up like that, and maybe the system that I work in is different, quite a bit different from where Mike was working, but still, to post something like that in the break room was a no-fly zone. So he was indeed provoked, at least for how I see it. Should he have been the only one that was penalized? I don't even know if he should have lost his job, because really, he didn't even push old dude in front of the whatever it was that ultimately mowed him down. He did attack him, but I don't know. I think maybe after working so long there, they could have gave him some time off or whatever, had some type of hearing. I don't know, but I don't think he should have been the only one that received the penalty for that.
So he was bullied, right? And it was 100% wrong. 1,000% wrong, right? What they did. And in most corporate places, that alone, everyone would have, there'd have been an entire investigation if this was, real world scenario, right? But this is fiction. But I think everybody would have been ultimately penalized, right? He probably would have still lost his job because of the fight aspect. But there have been some other things, some other people that would have also lost their jobs or been penalized. A person that put the image up there, everyone that was laughing about it, because it wasn't just the other guy, it was other people that were in on it as well, right? Everybody involved probably, and it's just a really messed up situation.
It is.
It is.
But
But
really,
it's a sacrifice, though, right? Because ultimately they needed that conflict in order for things to get worse for them to go to the next level of fuckery.
that is true. But another thing is, those probably the people that's paying for him to do those things on camera.
Correct.
All that weird stuff. Y'all were already watching it on the clock, which is
That's the other thing. That's the other thing.
I go to work to clock in and find me another job. I don't go to work to go watch weird shit. You know what I'm saying? So, they were watching weird stuff. That's why we was paying.
Where you work? We all go to work to watch weird shit with our coworkers.
No, I don't.
No, we don't. And what the funny part about it is, some of them probably were even on chipping in $5 here and there for the crazy, that people do just to kind of see it.
Yeah, on the clock.
On the clock. I could see that. I could see this site. Maybe I have little faith in where we are as a nation right now.
The site is rotten.com. That's what I told LL about this many years ago, but rotten.com is something we used to look at as a kid, and people do freakish nasty stuff. You watch people die, you watch all this other stuff rotten.com. I don't know if it still exists, I don't care to watch it, but it was very familiar.
I've never heard of that. Really?
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna tell you to type in rotten.com, but when I was growing up, we typed in rotten.com and it would show people like dying, different deaths. It was weird. People eating rats. It'd be crazy.
So I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist at heart, right? So, and I have seen this particular story or version of this story before in other shows, like a horror themed show, where millionaires are paying X amount of dollars for other people to it's either like a game show format, right? And you have to do X number of things in order to win the money. You have to escape to win the money. You're going to be hunted, for sport, in order to get the $300,000 or $400,000. So I, in my heart of hearts, I really believe that there is something like this out there on the dark web, or some underground fight ring or something where they, where they have people that are doing this kind of stuff for money, for whatever, right? I just believe that. I really believe that.
Think about the Purge, the purpose of the Purge, and they have the different shows of the Purge as well as movies of people actually y'all are paying for one day to kill, unalive other people. That's weird.
It's possible.
But when you get bored with money, you just act a fool. Me, I'm buying some 24s on my Impala. I'm doing stuff like
that. I'm not flipping your ride. All right, while we are on Jade, really quickly, sorry for my oversight, but Jade is a new face on Tip of the Tongue Talks. She is visiting with us today, so make sure you give her a nice, warm welcome. Hey, Jade.
Hey, Jade.
Yeah, I'm like, my Cash App is my name. That's why I'm doing
it. You gonna put your Cash App? You know what? I think we should all do that. I'm gonna put our Cash App our name. I'm gonna do that. It's a great way to monetize. All right. Look, we're gonna keep you around, Jade. You have a great idea. Sock it to my pockets. I like it.
Sock it to my pocket.
She got that from a stripper, but
that's all right. That's all right.
She did okay for herself. All right.
She did.
So Mike and Amanda, of course, we know, went and they plead their case to Gaynor after Mike loses his job, but are met with more fine print, pregnancy cross extra, and zero compassion. So although Mike and Amanda have repeatedly been exploited, Gaynor and Rivermine have suffered zero consequences. We've kind of already been talking about it, but again, what are your thoughts about the uneven power dynamic? Like the company has suffered zero losses, zero losses. They're just continuing on with this program as usual. The fine print was not laid out. Not only that, like you literally just keep coming up with things on the fly, like, oh, by the way, this, oh, by the way, that. And so it was extremely predatory, extremely exploitative. So what are your thoughts about Rivermine and Gaynor not receiving any consequences, and these people's lives have basically just been shot to hell?
My initial comment is about to be ignorant as hell, but it's two thoughts. First of all, ask for your own understanding. So he did not ask any questions. He just went along with it because he was bombarded. Like, I think this is the only option. I lose my wife, or I pay $300, and then pay this another $1,800, whatever the case may be. But they had every right to hit him with the okie doke every time. Our jobs do it all the time.
Okay, so that was your first one. What's the second one?
I want to keep my job now, so I'm not going to say it.
For further thought.
It feels like you're ignorant.
I reserve my right to plead the fifth.
Gaynor was Tracy Ellis Ross, right?
Yes.
Okay. So to me, it reminds me of corporate America, where when I worked in corporate America and I was in medical sales, this is the world that you're in. It is dirty. It is grimy. It sucks. It's hard to sleep at night, but this is what you got to do to make it. So there's not going to be any consequences. That's one of the reasons why you can do what you do when you're selling to people, because you basically tell them what they want to hear and try to get them not to read the fine print. All the time, I try to not to get them to read the fine print, or I would do an overview of it, but leave out all the bad shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a gray area, the healthcare system in America right now. So it's the wild, wild west.
It's a black area.
That's one of the things, and we kind of touched on this before, is that this is in where this switches over into real life, where you have to advocate for yourself, right? You have to advocate for yourself, even when you're in those moments of big decision making, right? Life or death situations, or medication changes, medication management, in the room with doctors, et cetera, et cetera. Advocate for yourself, reading the fine print, understanding everything that's going on, because who's to say we're not 10, 15 years away from this type of practice being implemented, or on some scale, maybe not to the extremeness of what Black Mirror is talking about, but that's what the greatness of this show, right? It gives us Black Mirror, really, in the name itself, it's really a mirror into society. It's black because society is black. It's dark.
It's not a gray area. That's why I say it's black. It's a cautionary tale.
It really is. It really is. While it's amusing and sad at the same time, it's really sad, but it's also has that hint of hilarity because it's so, extreme that part of you wants to say, oh, this could never happen. But when you really think about it, you realize that, hey, this really could happen. It really could happen. If not here, somewhere else, right? Definitely. Yeah. If not here, definitely somewhere else.
Jermaine, it's not just a cautionary tale, it's a call to action. Like you said, when is enough gonna be enough? Like, if I put it in terms, like you said, it's just, okay, I put some humor in there, but it's very much where we live.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll spark something in someone to where there will be some change. When is enough enough? Jade and I actually talked about this earlier. She read some of the comments online about the overall episode and kind of how people received it. Jade, did you want to speak to that just a little bit? about what are some of the things that you came across online that people were saying?
We touched on it. We talked about it. Everything is about monetizing things as well as capitalization and whatnot, even on our health and whatnot. But really and truly, from just listening to y'all, enough is going to be enough when we start canceling the right things. Like, we want to cancel a person for saying something like this, whatever. What's offensive, but actually morally correct, well, whatnot. But we're not canceling like stuff like, dude, y'all trying to do this, y'all trying to like put this perspective out here that we can stay alive by taking these pills or whatever the case may be. Like, not these pills, but I'm talking about this show. But it's just like, we cancel the wrong things. So that's why this one's gonna stop when we start canceling the right things.
So more specifically, and I guess in the end we'll get into your overall rating of this episode, but more specifically how the show was received, saying that, hey, this wasn't classic Black Mirror, this was a little too real. I feel like this could actually happen. How some of the viewers felt about the episode. Like, oh, I don't know, this was just a little too real. I feel like this could happen.
That's the point of Black Mirror, right? even the earlier episodes, it just stretched it just enough to where you could, you know what I'm saying? You know, it stretched it just enough to where maybe this can potentially happen.
No, it really and truly can. But you have to think about this as well. We're in the South, so the exposure that we have to things is going to be the aftermath. Just in general, because think about even when they had the episode with the bear that was a person alive inside of it, that actually happened to me when I was in Atlanta. Like, you know, so it's just what we're exposed to.
Hold on, women.
It was a different season.
You don't mean you were inside a bear.
You know what? Thank you, Jermaine, for asking. Because with her, you gotta ask: was she inside of a bear, or was a bear inside of her? We don't know.
I just assumed that I misunderstood, and I was just gonna leave it at that.
No, it was an episode with the bear. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. So the doctors, my brother was transitioning from he was transitioning, but they were saving his organs for my cousin, but my brother was actually dead. So they put his heartbeat and all that stuff so you can hear it inside the bear. We didn't want to touch the bear. We were scared. Like, so the doctors thought it was a good deal, a good gift, but it wasn't a good gift.
So so they used it like a sort of memento to where they, I guess, replicated the heartbeat, put that inside of a keepsake bear for the family.
Oh, okay.
So Black Mirror did an episode very close to that, though, to where you put this person's consciousness inside of the bear to where they died, but their soul or whatever was inside of the bear, and so you can press the bear and it could only say certain things. But
I remember that episode.
Inside of the bear knew everything that was going on.
Oh Lord!
The bear can see things visually, so that's why we put the bear away, because it was like you can hear my brother's heartbeat repeatedly. You can press it, you can hear it. It's like, this is scary because he's still alive, but he's not alive. I don't get it, because he was still alive physically. But Black Mirror knows what's going on.
Black Mirror knows everything.
It's creepy. It's very creepy. All right. Last couple of questions. So in the end, we see that things obviously have not gone well at all for Mike and Amanda. Mm-hmm. So we know that he purchased this 30-minute Serenity package. Do you think in the end, after Mike helped euthanize Amanda, that he unalived himself? Just based on how the episode ended. Did he euthanize him? I mean, did he unalive himself after he helped euthanize her? Or did he continue to just use the dumb dummies, make money to just get by?
I think he unalived himself because he couldn't live without her.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's because of love. I know he unalived himself because it was broke. He didn't have any more money. So, it was like, might as well end it.
I think it was the guilt. in the entire process, I think he did, but I can also see a case where people would say he was so numb to everything by that point that he continued on
Yeah,
with
I like
he
that,
did
Corey.
something else where he turned into a cutter. You know, I could see that, but they left it up to interpretation. But I personally feel that he harmed himself.
Nah, oh boy, ended it. He ended it. Had to have. Because, okay, so if your wife is no longer around, right? So you killed her. You killed her.
Mm-hmm.
Any way that you look at it, he killed her.
Mm-hmm.
So he gonna go to jail.
It's euthanasia. It's illegal most places.
So what's gonna happen? The only other thing that he could do in that moment was to do that to himself. In my mind, because I'm thinking about the United States. I'm thinking about someone who's coming from another country. I don't know his visa status, but I'm assuming I'm assuming he needed to keep a job. I'm thinking about all these different things, and so yeah, he gone.
He did it.
So I'm wondering why on camera, why go out that way?
I don't necessarily. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. The whole point of Dumb Dummies was to do stuff on camera for financial gain or what have you. So why not right beside Amanda in the bed? Why on camera? Why the straight razor? I had a lot of questions.
I did too.
Maybe he did a third thing. Maybe he did a third thing. Maybe he decided to use it as a platform to
gain more views.
Not gain more views, but to expose the situation that he was in. Because what I was also thinking, once they got into the situation and they kept asking for more money, what I was thinking is, whoa, well, who are all these people who keep going on it and needing all of this money? Are they in a similar situation as him?
Yeah.
The whole point. No one wants to do this for fun.
Yeah, it's getting exploited.
I like
Interesting.
that. I love
that. You know what? Even a cooler twist too is that if some kind of way the company that Rivermind actually has a stake in Dumb Dummies or something like that, and they were getting some sort of profits or something from
getting
that.
money from two sources. My goodness, which is really the same source.
Yeah. Right.
I like that. I feel like a dumb
That's why they need their brain power.
Just
I like that.
Yeah, that'll be.
But now that you say that, it really. Now I'm questioning, why do it on camera in front of everyone? Why? Or was that just a throwaway? Or was that just a throwaway piece of the episode?
Maximize profits, but he's not gonna.
He's not gonna get the profits.
Oh, I thought he was talking about it from the perspective of the company.
Oh yeah. Mm-mm.
And then they don't have any dependents. No survivors that we know of. And then he left the pillow over her face. I was thinking about that too. He smothered her. The ad was going off as he was, helping euthanize her. I was like, another ad?
Right. At that particular moment, I was like, man.
How perfect and
And what I was thinking was the company has got to know that this is happening. So why not contact the police? You know what I'm saying? That's just what I get too analytical about stuff like this. But that's what I was thinking. Because you've got to assume that other people went down that rabbit hole and decided, okay, enough is enough. We can't continue to do this. So if you are a company and you want to continue making money, you would want to have the police on speed dial. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought she wouldn't be able to die because of all the technology they put into her. So I thought she was going to pop back up with an ad.
She was paying to live. And another thing is, like what Jermaine was saying, he did not read the fine print. You signed the contract with us. I control you. So you have to accept it. and you paying to live.
Yeah, and
No,
so
y'all need to read everything.
I'm wondering, just like based on that map, how many people were a part of this river mine scheme.
Yeah.
Like, because the coverage, when you looked at the coverage areas, you know, of course, me, I'm looking for the boot. I'm looking for the boot. I'm like,
I
okay.
was
Right.
too. I ain't gonna lie. I was too.
I was like, Louisiana's on there.
I did too. I looked too to see what our coverage was
Dave
like.
was looking at Mississippi like, wait, Mississippi don't have no coverage. We're not playing that out here in Mississippi. We're not doing that. We can heal ourselves. We don't look. We got one hospital in the whole state. We're not doing this.
Shut up. It's not funny.
Hey, I was really paying my respects, but
I would love to see if they do a part 2 in the future, like to this story, as they do sometimes. Like sometimes they kind of revisit themes. This is one where I felt like I could have had a little more, right? Like maybe it was like an anthology type story where we saw, you know, sometimes they show stories where people are connected through happenstance, right? Or not, you know. I'd have liked to have seen Gaynor's story. I would have liked to see other people's story that they had involved or that were close to them. That were
All I
still
cared about was Gaynor.
Yeah, I think her story would have been instructive.
I think she was lying, but anyways.
What'd you say, Jade?
I said I really think Gaynor was lying. I don't think that she was a part of it.
You think she was lying?
She was trying to sell it upcharge.
You think she was an industry plant?
She was just a test dummy. She actually didn't have anything really physically wrong with her. She just kind of had a piece of that implant so she could alter her moods and all of the kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think she was lying.
I tell you what, though, she was a good saleswoman.
Listen,
good.
She gave me everything that I needed. Like, I enjoyed watching it. Like, it was funny, it was messed up, it was a lot going on. All right, so which is a segue into my last question for episode 1 of season 7 of Black Mirror. Just your overall rating of this episode. Whether you've watched Black Mirror in the past or not, I think all of us have a relationship with Black Mirror to some degree. And so, in no particular order, just your overall rating of this particular episode on a scale from 0 to 10.
I give it a 7.
A 7, okay. Say more.
I give it a 7. I liked it, but it could have gave it more.
I will say I give it a 6.5.
Oh my.
It rounds up to a 7, but the reason why I say 6.5 is because the subject matter was so dark, and previous episodes of Black Mirror, it's also dark, but it's not. It's still on that fantasy side of the sci-fi realm to an extent, and I think that the connection to real life was so real with this one. It's not a bad thing, but it really made me think about other things other than being immersed in the fantasy of Black Mirror. Not a bad thing, but I'm taking points away because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
it was heavy, and I didn't want something that heavy.
Not in episode 1.
No.
We got a 6.5 and we got 7 inches, so we barely touching the back of that thing. All right, we're getting there. We're on board, kind of, sort of. All right, we got Jermaine neck rolling, Jade twiddling in her hair. All right, ratings. Let's go. Let's have them.
I'm gonna let Jermaine have it because I'm gonna let you have it right now.
This is Jade's first episode, so we're gonna be gentle.
I would give it an 8, and I would give it an 8 because it made me think so much about, the state of America. It touched on so many different themes. It also, like, just education, the education system, and how it was impacting her job. You know what I'm saying? Like, that one decision that he made out of love ended up impacting them financially. You know what I'm saying? It ended up impacting them emotionally. Like, their relationship changed as a result of that one decision, a decision made out of love, which she understood. You know what I'm saying? But then their whole relationship then all about money. And is that what you like really enter a relationship for? And so like it had me thinking about all these different things that touches on our society, and that's why I gave it an 8. It would have received higher if, to Corey's point, there was more to the episode that I could have held on to. You know what I'm saying? For instance, if they had what was her name, Gaynor, or whatever her name was,
Yeah.
If they had delved into her story just a little bit more, so I could see the juxtaposition between the two stories. Like, how is it that you have all this money? Is it because you work for this company, or is it because I don't know? I don't know.
Or because you already had money, right? So that would give
Right.
a layer to it. I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're up to 8 inches. I'm starting to get excited. All right, Jade, what you got for us?
Jesus, you got to get up to 8 to get excited. My God, today.
You know, really and truly though, y'all, I really think that if it was a comedy, I would give it a 9.5 because it was hilarious. The ads thrown in there when she's saying random ass shit and being inappropriate. I liked it. It was funny. It was engaging. However, being a part of Black Mirror, you have to be dark and make individuals think. It wasn't there for it. And I had the connection with what's going on in America, but I'm gonna have to settle for maybe a 7 with it. Because it was just like
You wanted more. It sounds like you wanted more fantasy, more sci-fi with it.
I wanted more sci-fi with it. It was just like, damn, this is what we see every day. Oh, this is what's gonna happen tomorrow, in my opinion.
Jade bringing me back down and drying me out with a 7 on a breakout episode. All right. So for me, I have a lot of bias, a whole lot of bias, because I love Tracy Ellis Ross. But to you guys' point, would have liked to see a lot more of the backstory from Gaynor. So just kind of putting everything together, for me, the episode is probably around an 8. You know, it kept my attention. It was worldly. We had the sci-fi piece in there, and there was humor. There was dark humor, hella inappropriate and burlesque, but it was there, and I was here for it. So for me, the episode overall would probably be an 8. And I think the acting was really good, down to the
acting was good.
The acting was really good.
Even the children.
What about Rashida Jones?
She did a good job.
She did.
Oh my goodness, she's so funny. When she was running those ads, like when I tell you, I had to keep pausing to go to the bathroom because it was so funny. Like I did not want to pee my pants because I mean she just sold it down to the damn near bullying her student, you know, with the shoe situation, you know, and so it's just like she like roboted out for us. I was here for it. I think,
and the proselytizing, the light proselytizing that she did, the light witnessing that she did.
Yes. So to me, the acting, even from your C and D characters in this show was really good. You know, the guy that was bullying Mike at work, you know, the acting was just good. The storyline was good. And so for me, it's a strong 8, if not an 8.5. So here we go.
You know, now that you say that, I'm going to up mine a little bit to a 7.
Come on. 7 inches.
I'm
Starting to get a little tickle.
Britney actress in for acting.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She said no.
Let me ask you this though. What is your for those of you who have watched Black Mirror, what is your favorite Black Mirror episode and how does it compare to that? So for me, my favorite episode is the one with the two guys where they are uploaded into a video game.
Mine too.
And
mine too.
That is my favorite.
What I'm
Mine
hearing
too.
is we need to do a time jump backwards, and we have time to cover that episode because that is literally everybody that's on screen right now's favorite episode.
That's my favorite.
So good, but that other one with that one, I watched that one with you first. I told you I was like, you're gonna love this Black Mirror episode. Yeah.
Wait, say it again, Jay.
I said, remember the episode with the dudes in the video game?
Oh yeah. Oh, so
You
you
gotta
want
watch
to
it.
introduce me to it? Yeah. I enjoyed it. What I'm hearing is we need to discuss that one. That was good. Brittany's hair is moving a lot to the right. All right. Any more thoughts about
tired.
season 7, episode 1, common people? Anything? Any final or closing thoughts from anyone? All right, I think we pretty much delved into the capitalism, the unequal distribution of wealth, the dark humor, the sci-fi, science fantasy, all the things. So thank you for joining us for Tip of the Tongue Talks, Season 7, Episode 1, Common People. Join us. We will be here tomorrow for The Last of Us, Episode 1, Season 2. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be here.
See y'all later.
Okay, don't forget